Hey guys, Bittersteel here, back with another video for Hearts of Iron 4. And what we're going to do today? Well, today we're going to do what the poll told me to do. That's right, we're playing Turkey. And specifically, we are going for Turan. Turan. Yes, the meme can finally die when I've done this one. So, let's go. Turkey, 1936, Iron Man mode on, so you know I'm not cheating. And historical AI focuses on for that nice, predictable gameplay. Let's go. But first, if you like these videos, leave a like, consider subscribing, and hit that bell icon to be notified whenever I upload more content. Other than that, we have a very nice community Discord. It's a great place to hang out, and I'll leave a link to that in the description below. And finally, if you want to support this channel and support what I do, there is an option now next to the subscribe button that says join. If you click that, it will take you to the YouTube membership page that has all the explanation you need. But that's enough rambling. On to the video. Lovely country. Alright, first things first, the military. We can all go. We don't need them, not just yet. And we'll immediately follow that up with occupied territories. I like setting the basic to a local police force and take Kurdistan and set them to secret police because they're all being rowdy. Then go into your recruitment and deploy and set garrisons to a high priority. That should keep the Kurds relatively under control until we're ready to deal with them. Right, next up, focuses. Montreal Convention, not much else to choose really. Then construction. I like to open with about 4 civilian factories, so 2 in Istanbul, 2 in Bursa. Those are high development provinces, and they've got that Kemalism, that Kemalist loyalties modifier, so construction's even quicker. And then I follow up with 4 naval dockyards in Izmir. This also has Kemalist loyalties. We do need a few dockyards for what we're about to do, not that many though. After this, it's going to be a matter of building many military factories. Speaking of military factories, let's get rid of the fighters. 2 on infantry equipment, 1 on artillery, and 1 on support equipment. This is the basis we'll start with. Probably add anti-air later as well. And if you're playing with 14 force, that's pretty much all you'll ever need. You just expand the amount of factories you put on these babies and you're done. Me, I'm gonna do something special this run. I am going with Tank Turkey. So I will be building tanks. You don't have to, but I will because, well, I can, so why not? Research, nothing too fancy here. Just the basics of engineering and production and construction. Now, I'll not constantly be calling out what I'm researching. I will let you know when to do certain important researches. Like at some point, I start dedicating a full slot to do nothing else but research doctrine. And personally, I will be wasting a lot of time researching tanks and their related techs. But on the whole, once you're caught up with your industry, it's not a bad idea to start looking at the infantry equipment and the support companies that you will be needing. Don't forget artillery upgrades as well. Right. Production, I forgot. Dockyards. I like to make a few convoys. 10 should do. And then follow that up with submarines. Now, the submarines we can build at the start aren't great. I mean, they got torpedo ones and mine laying tubes. Not great. So I'll probably exercise my navy until I have enough experience to switch these out. So I'd need 9 experience to make some better submarines. We won't need the navy all that much, but I like to have, well, competent vessel as my navy. Speaking of that, let's set these guys to exercise until we have 9 experience. That's the basic setup done. Now, you could trade for resources, but it's just 1 tungsten and 1 aluminum that we're lacking. That doesn't impact our production that much, and I'd rather have those 2 factories building more factories for now. We can always come back to that later. Alright, let's go. Now, for Turkey to form Turan, we need to conquer quite a bit of land. We'd need most of French Syria, most of Iraq, most of Iran, and then pretty much everything from the Soviet Union, like from Crimea all the way to Kamchatka. It's like this whole chunk of Soviet Union is what we're going to need. So, got our work cut out for us. Alright, Navy's done. They can rest. And I'll change these submarines out to the better version. You don't have to do this. I just like to. Oh, a little tip. If you want this notification to go away after you've handled the Kurds, click this one off. while this bar is here. Otherwise, you're constantly gonna get that pop-up. Doesn't go away for the entire game. Alright, Montreal Convention. It always follows the same path. The UK is gonna back you, then they're gonna say no. Meanwhile, we are going to continue with the policy of etatism, so the right branch. Soviet Union is gonna get mad. We offer no settlement, never compromise, because on historical, the USSR is programmed to always back down. The British always abandons us, fine. Nothing has changed, we must stay the course. And there we go, Soviet Union backs down, giving us a nice amount of stability and political power, which we'll immediately spend on a silent workhorse. Not a bad start to things, I'd say. Oh wow, Italy was quick in Ethiopia. Very nice, Mussolini, very nice. Alright, we have another 105 PP, and thanks to Big Daddy Kemal making our advisors cheaper, we can already buy one. I'm getting the financial expert. Minus 5% consumer goods is pretty nice.
A few moments later.
Okay, we have 15 command power. That means we can start the Kurdistan roulette. We need to get all of these states down to the lowest possible modifier. That is the one below Kurdish agitation. I think that's Kurdish fatigue or rebellion fatigue. Whatever. It's one less than this one. First one failed. Great. And that one. So, yeah. They are now at separatist fatigue. We need that for all states in the area to stop the Kurdish movement. Well, no choice but to start clicking. Now, if you get too many of these events, it's nice that they give you political power, but that stability loss is pretty devastating. If you get too many of them, just restart. It's not worth sitting at 0 stability. There are ways to get your stability back up, but if it drops too low, it's going to be terrible for you. I'm going to start with worker conditions right away because I see it dropping already. And once Mustafa Kemal kicks the bucket, that's going to get even worse because he provides 30% stability all on his own. Alright, that's 3 areas down. Last one to go. Okay, this is going very poorly. That's 5 bad events in a row. My stability is tanking. Oh my god, it's just going back up. Okay, one more, come on. No. One more? No. One more? No. One more? No. One more? No. Yes. No, it actually went back up. So this is a run that I would declare dead at this point. We have 34% stability. Ugh. And it's still not going away, so this is just the worst. This is absolutely the worst. Okay, there we finally got all of them down, and we are sitting at 34% stability, which is absolutely devastating. Our base stability is essentially 0, with Mustafa Kemal adding a little bit on top. Yikes. Well, there are ways to get stability back, but not great. Don't really have much of a choice, do we? I'll continue this run and see if we can actually fix this. I will need promises of peace at this point to even stand a chance. Though that is going to eat into our war support. The upside of this is we have a very large amount of political power. Oh, and for industry, I will be going with dispersed. It doesn't really matter, you can go concentrated if you want to. Now, political power, what else can I get? I'm not gonna hire a political advisor. We'll get one of these prime ministers eventually, so that should be fine. We won't be ramping up our economy laws anytime soon. Might as well add a military theorist, get our doctrine speeds up, and a little bit of army experience is always nice. Also, with the Kurds under control, I can set this back down to local police force, and we can finally train some troops. 12 divisions, 2 runs of that should be fine. That's going to be the basis of our army. Alright, we continue the policy of etatism down into the 6 arrows. This will unlock a bunch of useful decisions, especially the one that gives us stability. Boy, do we need that one. Right, the industry is pretty much all ahead of time, and I said I was going tanks, so I am going to start researching these new light tanks so I can get mediums sooner, and I'm going to get the tank designer because I have that much political power. I wouldn't do this if I were in your shoes and you're just going with 14 force, then you don't have to spend this on a tank designer, obviously, and you can set your research slot to doctrine or something else. Might even be worth going ahead of time for the industry, but like I said, I want to try something fancy this run. What else can I spend this political power on? This is going to change on its own. I can't change out of economy laws due to etatism. Could ramp up my extensive conscription. No, I can't. So, yeah. Guess we'll sit in that political power for a while. Alright, the arrows are ratified. As for focuses, we will now continue towards the Sana Yaklakepatata. This one. Now, decisions, we got a couple of really good ones. Republicanism is pretty much free stability. Keep spamming this one until I tell you to stop spamming it. And since we did take promises of peace, I am going to click nationalism. Get ourselves a little bit of war support again. This is a little more expensive, but I think it's worth it in the long run. We do have quite a bit of political power. The other ones aren't really that good. And yes, I am ignoring the fundamentalist state management and the enemy within decisions. Don't really care all that much. We can fix that later when we have more political power. Or rather, when we don't need political power for anything else. Alright, that's done. We move on to revive Turkish revolutionism. That also allows us to take a fun little decision. In this new industrial projects tab, modernize the General Directorate of Military Factories. 300 political power, and we get 4 military factories in 200 days. I'd say that's a pretty good deal. I'd take that. Alright, first batch of troops is ready. They can exercise in Istanbul. I'll use our standard field marshal as field marshal. And who leads these guys? I'll pick this guy. He's a mountaineer, a warrior hero, infantry officer. He will do. I have plans for Faratin up here. And since I'm going with tanks, I'm gonna start researching motorized because my current template is just a bunch of horses. So yeah, I'll need motorized. You do you on that field. I just want motorized early. You could wait if it's just your run with 14 force. Motorized leads into some very good support companies though, so I wouldn't just flat out ignore it. Especially logistics and signal companies are pretty good. And I'm gonna keep spamming republicanism for as long as I can, just to get our stability back up, because oh boy. Alright, I've researched my fresh little tanks. I'm gonna add them to the queue. When those 4 military factories pop out, I want them to start working on my stuff. We've also got some army experience, gonna put that to good use. And we'll take the basic infantry template. This is 18 width, just a bunch of infantry. I'm going to add 1 infantry unit to this, makes them 20 width, a lot better, a lot more defensible. This will be our frontline unit. And we'll add support companies later on as we get more experience and more stockpiles of equipment. Turkish revolutionism done. Let's see what's next. Time to rehabilitate the cadre movement. In case any of you are wondering why I'm not just ramping up to partial mobilization, just real quick, I may have highlighted this already, but I cannot stress enough how big the etatism buff is. Its one drawback is that we cannot change our economy law. Not to early mobilization, not to partial, not to war economy. If we make any changes to this, we have to abandon the national spirit, which costs another 100 people. So it's only worth changing out this law if it's for one of the really good economy laws. So that will be war economy or up. And yeah, we gotta wait. And meanwhile, just keep spamming republicanism. It's rehabilitated the cadre movement. I've also switched my recruitment to high priority and reinforcement drop down a little bit, just so the garrisons and recruitment get priority on equipment. I actually need these guys to get out the door in a timely fashion. It's not urgent, but I'd like to get them there so I can train them. Meanwhile, national focuses. Time to head for Kemalism and the modern movement. This is where we split off. If you go the right path, ironically, you go the communist route. We go the left path, which is the, well, fascist path. I'd say fascist is the easier route, though communism should work as well. I like that so many of these Turkish focuses are just 35 days. It just speeds everything up so much. Alright, Kemalism and the modern movement is done. Now to integrate the Fascist Council. This is also the point where we stop taking the republicanism decision. Why? Well, the first 2 focuses that we'll do, integrate the Fascist Council and form the red shirts, don't matter for that point. But we then have to go to Fatherland first, and to be able to take the focus, we need to have more than 30% support for the fascist party. So we don't want to be boosting our non-aligned party at the expense of the fascist party at this point. Now we stop boosting the non-aligned party, and we just have to ride the brown shirt train. Speaking of the brown shirt train, this focus also puts a new prime minister in charge. He's going to give us a few cool bonuses and some daily fascism support at the expense of Ismet Inonu here. Pardon the pronunciation. I don't know how to pronounce this. Meanwhile, I'm still sitting on quite a bit of political power. I'm just gonna hoard this for now. We might need to make some other purchases. I've also finished motorized. That's very cool. Pretty much right on track for the industry. Right, this is also the point where we start dedicating a single slot to doctrine. For your game, if you're playing the infantry game, just straight up 10 zeros and 14 fours, or maybe even the dreaded 7 twos. If I can't stop you. If you want to use that, it's fine. I would recommend going with superior firepower and just going all the way down here, follow integrated support, and then down into shock and awe or airland battle. Just read up which matches your situation best. Me, however, personally, I am going mobile warfare for this run since I've decided I want to use tanks. So tanks it will be. This slot will be reserved solely for doctrine as well. So it's constantly going to be running doctrines. This is also usually the point where you're pretty much caught up with the industry tech and you can start taking the other stuff like radio, improving your artillery a little, and improving your infantry equipment. And since I've researched my trucks, I should probably start building them as well. So my first 4 extra factories will go into light tanks and motorized. Again, for your game, just assign these to a bit of infantry equipment and towed artillery. If you're going 14-4s, you'll need a lot of towed artillery. Speaking of military factories, we've also got our free ones from the decision down here, and we can use some of this extra political power we have left over to take other decisions in this tree. Another good one to take is this iron steel factory here. That should give you a little bit of extra steel. Steel's always good. Now do note, these decisions are not required. They're very nice to have, but you won't always swim in political power like I am, because you might just get really lucky with the Kurdistan events. They're nice bonuses, but they're not required. Just focus on getting your stability up if that's your problem. That's far more important. All right, we've integrated the Fascist Council. Now we form the Red Shirts, giving ourselves a little more daily fascism support. But 2% recruitable pop is nice. And because my stability was just that low, I'm also going to take republicanism one more time just to get it up a little bit. I had an exceptionally bad run with my Kurds, so you may not have to do this. Like I said, stop boosting your non-aligned at this point. You need a lot of support for the CHP, the brown boys in this case. Now that my factories are built, they've immediately gone to work, and I've also started trading for my resources now. Construction, while still important, we also need to start working on our production. We do need quite a lot of support equipment and artillery. Alright, we formed the Red Shirts, and as you can see, we cannot take the Fatherland First focus just yet. We'll need to make a little detour. In this way, we will first cooperate with the Debt Council and then go into utilize foreign capital. I'm going to start using some of my army experience to start switching out my light tank template. It's a bit crap, but it's better than nothing. So we're gonna turn this into a 20 with light tanks and a lot of horses. So I'm just gonna add one more light tank when we get the army XP and then steadily switch out these horses. Sad times, Mustafa Kemal falls ill. Yeah, that's gonna cost us a lot of stability. But since we're looking to replace him anyway, I wouldn't bother seeking treatment here. Fun thing about the Mustafa Kemal event is that when he dies, the Prime Minister will take over. And in our case, the Prime Minister is also the leader of the brown shirts here, the fascist part of the CHP. When that happens, our ruling party will also switch to the ideology of the Prime Minister, which is really interesting, and I hadn't realized that before I started work on this guide. So it's a really quick way to flip your country fascist, and you can start justifying really quickly before world tension becomes an issue. Just don't treat Mustafa Kemal and let the old man die. I know that's not a very Turkish sentiment of me, but we're trying to conquer the world here. Have to make some sacrifices. Alright, cooperate with the Debt Council. Done. Utilize foreign capital. Next. Fun fact, now that we've cooperated with the Debt Council, we can absorb the TPDA. That is this thing. We're going to make this thing disappear. And since we do have the political power, we will also pay off our debts. So you can finally get rid of that entirely in about 180 days. Brilliant. And with the little bit of political power we have left, we'll go into our industrial concerns. And I like to hire this guy, Kamil Tolon, the inventive genius. Like, the others aren't bad, but this guy is just like free political power. And we'll once again be saving up our political power. We have some things to do. Most importantly, we'll need a bit to justify on Iran and Iraq in the not so distant future. But if we have some to spare, I would like to send one to Japan or China, whichever you prefer, just to start this army experience flowing. Though it's not required. It's nice, but it's not required. Alright, we finished Utilize Foreign Capital, which is nice. Gives us another research slot. Immediately going to put that to work. And we can move on with the focuses. Since we cannot take Fatherland first yet, let's take a quick detour here and intervene in the Spanish Civil War. We'll not actually send anything to Spain, but this will give us a very nice national spirit, Turkish interventionism, which does a few things for volunteers that doesn't matter at all, but it also reduces the time we need to justify war goals by 60%, and that's pretty cool. Now we just need to wait for Kemal here to give up. Alright, we've intervened in the Spanish Civil War. On to a common destiny for all Turkey. This will finally allow us to deal with Kurdistan properly. Alrighty, here we have a 30% support for the CHP. That means we can retire Ataturk now if we wished. The event is going to, well, kill the man in 41 days anyway. If we retire him manually, we'll get the same results. Namely, our Prime Minister will now take over. He has taken over and we have flipped to the Fascist Party. And it's a good thing that we don't do this before we get the 30% support for the Fascists, because upon assuming the role of a national leader, the Prime Minister loses the trait that boosts fascism support. Not great. So wait until you have 30% and then you can put the guy in charge. Also, our stability is now gone. Yikes. Alright, common destiny of all Turkey is done. Could go for Fatherland first, or we could hunt down the 5th columnist Islamist. There's not much difference here. End result's the same. We have to get everything just to move down here anyway. So might as well just hunt down the 5th columnist first. Meanwhile, we do have the political power for it. Why not start justifying a few war goals? We will need Iran and Iraq. Let's start a justification on the Iraqis, 120 days, okay. Then we justify on the Iranians, 205 days. Oh, I don't like where this is going. Yeah, 250 days might be better. Then we cancel the Iraqi, then we cancel the Iraqi justification and make a new one. And this one takes 270 days. So that's the reason why I justified on 2 states in Iran. I had the political power to spend, and this way the war goals finish at the same time. If we did that differently and they both got 1 state, this one would end in 270 days and Iran would finish in 205 days, and that would mean we could not declare the wars at the same time, and that would risk some guarantees popping up there. But this way, we should be fine. We should be fine. Iran will be ready the 4th of July. Iraq will be ready the 24th of July. So yes, we're fine. A little less than a year from now, we do need our armies to be ready though. So let's keep cranking out the troops and keep improving the troops. Engineer companies, very important for our 20ths. We've also not generated more than 10% world tension, so Iran and Iraq shouldn't be getting any guarantees even if world tension pops over 26% or 25%, so we should be fine. Then again, you never really know what the UK is gonna do you? Alright, we've hunted down the Islamists, onwards to Fatherland first. And after Fatherland first, let's see if we can convince the Italians to sell us the Dodecanese Islands. We are going to take the Oniki Islands. That's this bit here. We'll ask Italy very kindly if they want to give that back to us. They should be pretty inclined to. Might as well just sign a non-aggression pact, just to be sure. You don't really have to do this. Alright, since our stability is really, really bad, I'm just gonna hit republicanism a few more times. I mean, we've done the focus. At this point, it doesn't really matter all that much. We just need a lot more stability than we have. Alas, so passes Mustafa Kemal Ataturk. Rest easy, Argazi. We will make Turkey great again. Oh my god, we're at 0 stability. Oh man. Yeah, this is big yikes. Big yikes. I'll need to pull every trick in the book just to get some stability. Strikes are going to annihilate us. I probably would have been better if I just restarted after that disastrous Kurdish clicking event. But we don't give up, we don't surrender. There's always one more thing we can try, right? 0% stability. My god. Yeah, I don't feel good about this, but I'm gonna do promises of peace. Try and offset that with a bit of nationalism. Alright, Italy doesn't just want to give us the Oniki Islands, of course not. They're Italy. Offer a friendship? Yeah, that's not gonna work out. Industrial compensation? I refuse to give up any of my civilian factories, so we'll offer them the rights to our chromium. Fine. Italy, take my damn chromium. Great, we've traded stability for chromium. Ah, glorious. Onwards with the focuses. We will now salt the scars of the Great War. We'll get a military factory, civilian factory, bit of war support, and more fascism support. Great. I'm also gonna pick up military police, since we will be occupying quite a bit of land, and I want to keep that under control. We also have 10 army experience. Gonna make a few more changes to divisions. I want to say that these are fine for now. I mean, I know they're garbage. They're absolutely terrible, but they'll serve for what we have in mind. So I'll make some changes to the infantry first. I'm going to add on support artillery. I can afford that. Maybe I'll support companies, engineers? Can't afford engineers, so artillery it is. I'm also going to start a production line for towed anti-air. 2 of these factories should be enough to supply most of your army for the rest of the game. You can start making it quickly enough. After which, the focus will go to infantry equipment, towed artillery, support equipment. Fortunately, we'll be able to ask Italy and Germany for stuff as well. So don't let these red numbers scare you too much. And our first and only tank division is ready for action. Let's assign them a general of their own. Feridin Altay, he'll do. And we'll use these to break through the enemy lines. Alright, the scars of the Great War have been salted. Let's carry on and reconfigure Turkish foreign policy. Oh, just trying to squeeze stability into Turkey is like trying to squeeze water from a rock. It's almost impossible. Now our war goals are drawing closer, so I'm going to redeploy the army to the Iraqi-Iranian border here. Same with our 1 armored division. This will do the heavy lifting. I've also moved the Air Force to be a little bit closer to the conflict, so I can put them up over the Middle East and close air support, air superiority. These guys shouldn't have any air forces, so we should be fine. Should be fine in the air. Alright, Turkish foreign policy reconfigured. And we move on. Alright, now I'm gonna go and make a quick stop here with the Anglo-Turkish Agreement. It's nice that the UK will guarantee our independence. That will cancel out several of the UK's guarantees, so we don't have to worry about them in future, should that ever be a problem for us. But for 35 days, that's really cheap to get some medium tanks, so we can start making medium tanks real early. I like that. And I'm going to improve worker conditions. I would like to hire military staff, but I just need stability. Just look how bad our stability is right now. Right, we finished our justification on the Iranians. Now we wait for Iraq.
12 seconds later.
Boom. That's Iraq. Now we get going. Declare war on the Iranians. Declare war on the Iraqis. And yes, we have 0 stability. We're going to get strikes. I know it's horrible. It's awful. I hate it. In your case, we'll probably have been better just restart. But we are here now. Might as well get going. Let's take the speed way down. And let's micro Iraq into oblivion. And then move on to Iran. The difficult bit will be breaking through this fairly narrow border, and then we will be moving to get encirclements on the Iraqi divisions, either destroying them or bypassing them, and just capturing their victory points. There's 3 in the north and a bunch to the south. But once we get in open terrain and away from this very narrow border to the north, we should have an easy time defeating the Iraqis. Alright, we have the Anglo-Turkish Agreement and free tanks. We move on to the German-Turkish Friendship Treaty. Oh, and since we're at war now, let's artificially create a massive deficit of equipment and talk to Italy and Germany. They like us now, so they should be willing to send us some free guns. Yes, Italy will send us free guns. What about you, Germany? Will you send us free guns? Germany don't send us free guns. Oh well, 7,000 rifles, not bad. Alright, German-Turkish Friendship Treaty done. On to the Claudius Agreement. The reputation's nice, but also every state with 65 or more chromium will get free 3 infrastructure and 2 military factories. Let's see how many of those we have. Just the 1. You could probably cheese it by building infrastructure in your chromium areas from the start of the game, but you'd be hamstringing yourself while you do that. Oh well, better to have something than to have nothing. Ooh, we are snaking our way towards Baghdad. Oh man, if we can pull that off, that'll be great. Oh, free access membership's nice. Just don't call them in. You don't need their help for it. Maybe they'll give us some guns now. Again, create an artificial deficit. Ask for guns. Now they'll send me guns. Very nice. Very nice, Germany. And Italy. Thank you, Italy. 6,046 guns. Germany, thanks. Really cool. We have troops in Baghdad. Just make sure we don't get encircled there. We got troops in there on time. I think they'll hold. Should be able to. Oh, we've cut them in half as well. Not bad, using all these garbage divisions and one halfway decent division. We've done significant damage to our enemies. Should be able to defeat them soon. Let's also upgrade our divisions. We have the experience. Let's add in some engineer companies to our infantry. Ooh, we are definitely short on infantry equipment here. Let's just add that to the tanks first. Yeah, that's a lot easier to swallow. Switch these out for motorized. Let's wait for that lend-lease to come in first. Oh, just cruising along, capping your victory points. Don't mind me. And there goes Iraq. Great, bunch of guns, and we'll just take all their states. I'm gonna try and maybe cut the entire front off from their capital, though that's gonna be a tall order. I don't think I'll pull that off, but nothing's stopping me from trying. Also gonna force deploy a few of these divisions I had queued up. New army. Yes, they're green. Yes, they're under-equipped. It's fine. It's fine. You can help with the front line. Come on, light tank. I know you can do it. Come on. Come on. No! Damn, they have divisions here. So close. So close. Oh, that might actually be very dangerous for me now. Oh, well, we'll see. See what happens. No, 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 no. I might actually still pull it off. Just gotta hurry, man. Just gotta hurry. I'm gonna stop all these units from redeploying. Don't get the move. I decide who moves. Yes! 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 Encirclement complete. I've cut off the entire Iranian northwestern front. Now, closing that pocket is going to be a challenge. So I'm going to redeploy the troops as quickly as I can and use this armor division to the best of its capabilities to, keep this pocket open, or closed, rather. And force deploy as many of these divisions once I can. And, just keep asking for lend-lease. As long as they'll keep giving me stuff, I'm gonna keep asking for it. Italy doesn't want their own guns? Fine, I'll take them. Oh, just look at what we've done to Iran. And I've force deployed more infantry units. They can help shore this up, and we just have to keep this open while we slowly take Iran apart. And I'm pretty sure I could just battle plan the rest of this, but I want to conserve my losses, keep these as low as possible. I'm pretty amazed how willing Iran is to just let me tighten the noose. I'm just strangling their northern army to death, and they're not really doing anything about it. As for the rest of their country, well, I can just walk wherever I want to. I've got a few more divisions in reserve, but that's it. I've also got a good number of light tanks in reserve, so I'm just going to switch light tanks out for medium tanks. Production-wise, I'll use my reserves to replenish the losses this unit takes in whatever fighting's left. Shouldn't be too many. And we'll start work on the medium tank division after. In terms of construction, well, it's time we follow up everything with a bunch of military factories, obviously. Alright, we finished the Claudius Agreement. Now we take all 4 of these focuses here and head for Join the Axis. I recommend taking the Funk plan and the German officers first, and then getting the Italian garbage, if they'll send you any, and the Italo-Turkish Naval Academy. Funk plan's pretty nice. So yeah, that's the entire Iranian army destroyed. Well, except for these 4 divisions they managed to squeeze out. 4,000 Turkish losses against 102,000 Iranian casualties. I'd say that's a fair and balanced warfare for you. Alright, and so begins the battle for Tehran and Iran. And there goes Iran. Minimal casualties for maximum reward, and we again take all states. Done. Alright, we are well on our way to establishing Turan. What we need next is this part of France, but we can take that from Vichy France, and roughly this entire part of Russia. That's going to be a big challenge though, but never fear, we have time to prepare. And I do think that it's a good time now to send an attaché to Japan. We do need a lot more army experience if we are going to change our tank templates. So I'll just send them an attaché there. That'll do. So what are we going to do now? Well, right now we are going to prepare our armies. We're going to make as many of these 10-0 infantry divisions as we can, as well as start churning out tanks. We are going to build medium tanks. We're going to ramp up their production significantly once we fill out the requirements requirements for the other equipment. We will need a lot of medium tanks. We are going to be making 40 width medium tank divisions and use those as battering rams to break down the enemy. And our first enemy will be Vichy France. Can clean that up real nice. That's also why we've been building submarines all this time. We'll need quite a few subs to be able to take on the Vichy Navy. Sadly, Vichy France gets to keep most of the French Navy, but shouldn't be too difficult. So I'm steadily going to switch out all the light tanks for medium tanks and then pretty much double this. It's going to be 13 medium tanks and 7 motorized. And I might even switch out the motorized later on for mechanized because I'm feeling fancy. It's definitely not something I'd recommend. I just want to do something fancy. I'm actually going to test these investment possibilities with the Germans. I know that this is pretty broken. I just want to see if it actually works every now and then. Usually I wouldn't recommend taking those. But at least the Germans come through for us. They might build some factories. Let's see how many they'll build in Diyarbakir. Oh, great. Yeah, they'll build it in the one state that's not a core. And it's 3 military factories. I don't think I'm actually going to get those until the compliance is high enough. Another 150 political power. Some options here. We could ramp up the war economy, but I'd need another 100 political power to make that happen. Because we need to get rid of etatism. We could also hire a war industrialist. Not terrible. We could hire the Vatan ideologue. 10% stability. Really nice. This is also not a terrible prime minister. 5% stability, 5% factory output. Yeah, I'll take the 10% stability guy, I think. Yeah. Next step is probably going to try and get rid of civilian economy into war economy and get rid of etatism at the same time. And then we can finally hire some military high command. Stability is starting to stabilize there at least. Thank you, Italy, for your garbage. And we're able to change our medium tank template to the desired template, at least the basics of it. And adding some support companies, of course, like logistics, support artillery, maybe support anti-air could be handy. And we're going to switch over that one tank division we've already made, and we'll get the new ones. Yeah, they won't have enough tanks for quite a while, but that's fine, we have time. And Poland does what it always does and refused the German ultimatum. Great, World War II has kicked off, and we are not going to get involved in this at all. We are not answering any call to arms from the Germans or the Italians or any other Axis member. All we're going to do here is sit and prepare. We will knock out the Vichy French, and that's about the limit of our involvement in Europe. We will focus all our attention on the Soviets. Meanwhile, might as well join the Axis. Bypass it. There we go. And let's get German military aid and then go all the way down here to propagate the doctrine of pan-Turkism and pave the way for Turan. I am going to prepare, though, for that conflict with Vichy France and get our troops in position. The troops in Genoa and, of course, French Syria. We need to mind this border as well. This is what we're after all. There we go. And Vichy France should be established soon. There we go. The Vichy French are there. Right, and we will immediately start our justification on Vichy France. Retake core state of Hatay, 15 days, that's fine. As for our navy, we'll just group all of them up and naval invasion support in the Western Mediterranean Sea. Now, if Italy doesn't take both Provence and Savoy, you can just go for naval superiority in the Tyrrhenian Sea and just hop across, just get a border province. Supply will flow across the border, you don't need a port, and then take the rest of Vichy France. In this run, Italy took quite a bit of France, so I'll just be making my invasion from Marseille into the border around Montpellier. Now, I'm doing a bunch of individual naval invasions because they only take 7 days to prepare. If we were to do a mass naval invasion, that takes significantly longer. Alright, that's 10 divisions total. Now, the French Navy is still quite formidable, but we'll see what we can do. If we cannot take naval superiority right away, we'll have to try and bait the French fleet out just to have a little engagement. They'll probably sink most of my surface fleet, but I should be able to do enough damage to them to make them go to port for just a little while, and we can work from there. Also, I just realized something. I don't want all of these units to naval invade. No, let's take a few of those off, and I'll split off a couple of these guys. 3 units, head over to Tripoli and make a naval landing from here. Again, we'll have to be clever about avoiding the French Navy. Never thought I'd say that. French Navy is scary. Alright, justification on the French is done. Got my air force up with naval strike and air superiority, for what it's worth. It's not a giant air force. The navy is out there providing naval invasion support in the central Mediterranean and the western Mediterranean. All naval invasion orders are go, as well as this order. And when we click go, that's it. Do or die. I don't know if we'll actually get past the French fleet right away. If we don't, we'll have to bait them out for a bit of a naval battle, hopefully do enough damage, and then clean up. Let's get going. Bye-bye, Vichy France. Alright, this naval invasion seems to have set off, so that's good. These guys have set off as well. Perfect. Perfect. And there's literally zero resistance in French Syria. That's just fine by me. That's just fine by me. And landfall. Great. Supply, we don't need a port here. Supply is going to flow with that Italian border. Our troops can also move in there now through that Italian border, so that's just great. And I don't think the Vichy army is quite reassembled yet, so we can just go. Same here. We'll get our supply from the border with Italy and just draw a front line and set your units to go. We should have no problems walking to the other side of North Africa. I have to say, not really impressed by French resistance, such as it is. Do the French even have troops? They have some troops. Wonder where they all are. Oh, this is where the French army is. Okay, that explains. Yeah, gotta redeploy those boys. And with all these fresh troops flowing into North Africa, we should be able to make short work of the French resistance here. They had more troops than I expected, but shouldn't matter too much. Alright, the downside of the entire French army being in North Africa is we're taking significant losses. This is very, very unfavorable terrain to push through, so I'm going to try something else. Just quick little naval landing behind enemy lines. Just try and taking a few victory points. Should be able to. French Navy is nowhere to be seen. Oh, Italy. What are you doing? What are you doing? I don't think Italy's winning an... Oh, well, I retract that statement. And there goes Vichy France. Excellent. So we'll take Syria. That's why we came here. As for anything else, we don't have that much use for it. I am just going to puppet a bunch of stuff. Just not Vichy France itself. No, I'm going to satellite all of their African holdings. I'm even going to satellite Corsica. And end my turn. I'm going to satellite the Occitan Republic, whatever that is. That's just southern France. They're going to pass a bunch of times and give whatever's left to the Occitan Republic. That's pretty much just Vichy France with the standard focus tree. That way I don't have to worry about them doing anything funky like breaking out of the puppet status without me knowing. There. Oh, that is so much better. All we need now is a nice slice of Soviet Union, about 3/4 of it. So we need to keep on preparing. That is going to be a big one. Time for some favorable trade deals with my puppets. That should ease the strain on my civilian economy. And now we redeploy everything to our borders with the Soviet Union, including our navy. The navy is pretty much going to be used to be a strike force in the Black Sea to keep the Turkish shoreline safe from Soviet naval landings. Right, the doctrine of pan-Turkism is done, and we continue. We will now integrate the German officers into the army, head on to restoring our nation's pride, and then finally, Misak Imili. I have no idea how to pronounce that, but essentially this will allow us to head down the glorious path towards Turanist ambition. I think I'll also add some support anti-air into my divisions. They could use some help against the Soviet Air Force. It's not large, but it's larger than mine. And it's probably about time we ramp up our recruitment laws soon as well. Manpower is getting a bit tight. And like I said, I want to play around a little. I am mechanizing my armor divisions. It's not something I recommend. I just want to be fancy about it. Time to look into military high command as well. And our first pick will be Kazim Orbay, the infantry expert. With the German officers integrated, it's time to restore our nation's pride. Oh, there goes Greece. And we've restored our nation's pride. Time for the final stretch. We will renounce the national oath and reclaim what was ours by right. Now, depending on our manpower, now is the time where we either ramp up to extensive conscription, which does seem like a good idea in our case, or we get an army's chief of staff, though that can wait. We need manpower. I've also started making some close air support. You never know when this might come in handy. Oh, Italy is actually being competent. I'm impressed. Really impressed. There we go, the Turkish Empire demands the return of 1920 borders. We will have what is rightfully ours, and we will start with the largest enemy left to us, the Soviet Union. Though we may need a few more troops out the door first. I'd rather wait for these guys to finish. That will allow us to make the initial attacks mostly around the Caucasus. And while we prepare for that, let's go back down here. And we have some options. If we go the left path, this is going to set us on a collision course with Bulgaria, and by extension the Germans. They are very likely to just kick us out of the faction. We're not quite ready for that yet. The central path gives us claims on Turkey. Very nice, they are our eventual target. And the right path gives us claims and a core in the area of Syria and Iraq. I am going with this one first because of the core, and it leads down to liberate the Kurdish diaspora. This gives us a bunch of core states as well, and I do like having cores. Besides, we can always take on the Soviet Union later. We have a few more months. And time for some military high command. I love the army maneuver guy. Extra division speed, 15%. That is nothing to sniff at. That is definitely something I want. Also, one more thing. This is something you have absolutely zero control over. Very, very unfortunate. The game is broken utterly and completely. What is going on now is something that might happen in your game as well. Border conflicts. The UK has the option of doing border conflicts with Vichy French territory to flip it to Free France. The only problem is, Vichy France doesn't actually have to own the territory. We have destroyed Vichy France, fully assimilated them, and are completely at peace with the United Kingdom. However, they are still able to do border conflicts with us in Syria, and as a result, you might lose these territories to the United Kingdom / Free France, and there is absolutely nothing you can do about this except park your entire army on that thin desert border and hoping the UK doesn't get a stupid border war to work in their favor. I am very disappointed in this because there is just nothing I can do about this. There's nothing I can do to fix or prevent this. So yeah, these troops are gonna arrive probably too late, and that's gonna be it. The Allies secure Syria, and with that, the run is dead. There's nothing I can do about this. I have to restart.
20 minutes later.
Alright, new game, new try. I've managed to find a save game from a test game I was playing, so I'm not too far behind. January 1941. Yes, the world looks a little bit differently. It's not that big of a change. The only thing that's really different here is the African side of things, but Italy's doing what it does. And in this save game, I had already picked superior firepower as my doctrine, so no mobile warfare memes going forward. I'm sorry. I didn't feel like playing the entire game to get back to where we were, so I just picked up a save game I found that was very close to the part where the guide broke. Now, you don't have to restart. In theory, you could just conquer that bit of the Soviet Union you need and then sweep down into Syria after you declare on the Allies. I didn't feel like doing that. I'll be honest, I really didn't feel like doing that. For now, I've parked almost my entire army on this border in case the UK tries to do that again, and we'll move forward. Right, so now we will liberate the Kurdish diaspora. That should give us a nice amount of cores and as such recruitable population. Very nice, very nice. After this one, we'll start to pick a fight with the Soviet Union. It's already 1941. Our build-up is going nicely. Soon we should have the strength needed to challenge Stalin himself. And to keep at least some of the memes going, I will be switching out some of my motorized for mechanized in the medium armored divisions as my stockpile of mechanized grows. I still want to try this out. And with the Kurdish diaspora liberated, can go for Turanist ambitions, but maybe we'll wait with that. Let's rebuke the Treaty of Kars and pick a fight with the Soviet Union first. Well, seeing as we have that much political power, we're going to spend a little bit of it on republicanism just to get stability up some more, and I will switch out this guy for somebody else. Maybe this guy is not bad. That is a lot of daily compliance gain. It's going to be nice. You can do whatever, really. Could add some more to the military high command as well. I'm your regrouping guy. Pretty nice. Or just go mad and spend it in here. Develop your resources, build more industrial projects. Choice is yours, really. Right now, I am just laser focused on getting the Soviet Union to its knees. I think we'll be occupying quite a bit of land, and that daily compliance gain is going to be handy in the long run. Alright, we've rebuked the Treaty of Kars. I'm going to start justifying on the Soviets. Doesn't take too long. I think we're ready. Just about. I want to get a good head start on the Germans by the time they start Barbarossa. Speaking of, I wonder why they haven't started already.
12 seconds later.
Ah, Germany beat me to it anyway. Oh well, we press on. We'll have to try and get more war score out of this than the Germans can. Yeah, that's the bit that sucks about this. Let's get involved then. It seems they are walking away from their borders. Let's make a massive land grab while we can, with the speed way down. Let's see if I can make these tanks do what I want them to. Make a nice encirclement in the area. And success. A small, modest pocket. Good to start the day off with. And we're pushing up through these steppes of Central Asia. We're doing well. We're doing well. I just hope we can outperform the Germans. Well, if we can pull off this encirclement, oh, that's going to be juicy. Just have to make sure they don't manage to break out somehow. Quick redeployment is what we'll need. Tanks are just so strong. Uh-oh. I got a bit carried away. Managed to get myself encircled. Yikes. Alright, see if I can break through there. It's not over yet, but it is getting risky. The problem's just the infantry isn't doing what I want them to. They're just not moving into those areas. Super annoying, that. Super annoying. As a result, the enemy is getting a lot of time to reorganize. So with a little bit of micro, we should be able to pull out of this. There, disaster averted. Now, I just need to finish the encirclement in Sochi. You must have hurt the Russians quite bad already. Not bad. Germans are doing better, but they have a far easier front to push through. A far larger army. We are doing the heavy lifting here, though. We got most of the war score so far. Oh my god, you have got to be kidding me. I just lost those 2 tank divisions. I got cocky and just lost 2 of my 3 40 with medium tank divisions. Oh, I got greedy. In terms of focuses, it doesn't really matter. I'm avoiding Turnist ambition just yet because it will make me leave the Axis. I don't want that just yet. I want to be able to request land from my allies, mostly the area around Crimea, so it's cheaper for me in the peace deal. Once it's under my control, then I'll leave the Axis. Oh, but that was a heavy blow. Wow. I can't believe I fell for that. I just got greedy. No excuse. Oh well, at least I was able to destroy most of the Caucasus army. And as far as Central Asia goes, this is just easy pushing. They don't really have any units in the area. Okay, this eases the pain of losing those 2 divisions slightly. Ever so slightly. Yeah, that feels a lot better. Let's see if I can pull off another ambitious encirclement with this tank division. Let's see how far I can get without losing it this time, preferably. All I really need is just the infantry to actually follow behind and not get caught somewhere in the rear. As long as the divisions are following behind it, I can do a lot of damage with that 1 division. Just look at that tank division go. Oh, I love the speed of those things. I'm a little concerned about how slow the infantry is, but with strategic redeployment, we should be able to fill those gaps eventually. Alright. We got it! Yes, got a pocket. Now gotta close it. Just gotta close it. No! Damn it! Ah, this happens every time. Managed to get out somehow. Right, get back up there and close that damn pocket. Okay, fix the pocket. Good. Now to close that thing. Ooh, that is a good chunk of the Soviet army. You see, this is how you use armor divisions. You create pockets and destroy large parts of the enemy army, and then you mop up and move on, create more pockets. Eventually, they won't have the troops to keep replenishing those losses, and you can push ahead virtually unopposed. We've expanded as far as we can go on this side, pretty much. Not much else we can do here. The line's just getting too long for that 1 army group. I need to assign more troops there, but I've got more in the recruitment tab. How many divisions is this? 4, 6, 7, 12, 14, 15, 16, 17 divisions destroyed. Not bad, not bad. I think we've mopped up most of the Soviet Caucasus army. Nice. Let's push towards Stalingrad a little early. Let's beat the Germans there. And now with that massively reduced Soviet army in this area, I can just advance with my infantry as well. Just gonna keep them walking forward until I meet more resistance, then roll out the tanks for more pockets. Ah, finally, a new tank. Yeah, I regret losing those 2 divisions, but I'd say we've recovered well.
Later.
Alright, Germany has managed to push almost to Minsk. Meanwhile, I've gobbled up the entire Soviet Caucasus army, and, well, we've made the Turkish Empire considerably larger. Let's keep this hype train rolling. Soviets are redeploying towards me. They realize there's a threat to the south now. Well, better late than never, I suppose, Stalin. I'm pretty sure the Russian army has all but run out of steam at this point. And the only problem we have right now is that we don't have the divisions for these very long front lines, so I have to be methodical and surgical about making good encirclements so I can move on without overextending myself. We're advancing well, though. We're advancing very well. And that's the south pretty much broken. We control all of Crimea. And if we can push up from here into the Soviet Union, we will have all the occupation we need to create Turan. Just gonna try and drive another pocket here. Just my tanks driving through the plains. Oh, they're so fast. If I can close that before they get any reinforcements in, I can do a lot more damage. And we just have to make sure that we attack from our territory, so we get the occupation and not those nasty Romanian. So it looks like these Soviets are pretty much on their last legs. They can barely manage to put a single division on every tile facing us, and some tiles aren't even being filled. Use my tanks to close this last large pocket here, and the infantry can start a steady advance towards Moscow and the victory points. Yes, this will cost many Turkish lives, but their lives will buy us a seat at the negotiating table. Let's see if I can create a large-ish encirclement here, and that would solve a lot of problems if we can pull that off. Because the line is getting mighty thin. Also, yeah, at this point, I'm using a lot of battle plans. I know, but the Soviets are all but beaten. It's just really bad terrain to advance in. It's almost not worth it to use anything other than tanks. I've lost hundreds of thousands of men. Well, tens of thousands of men in that one little, well, big push. The amount of casualties you take when using infantry opposed to, tanks is just absurd. Right now, we're still sitting on more than 10-1 with the Russians, so it's all good. It's all good. Looks like the Axis are not doing too well in Europe. They're gonna need to redeploy a lot of troops from the Russian front if they're gonna come back from that. Then again, the Soviets are at death's door. Pretty much just need St. Petersburg and the victory points in central Russia. That's still gonna be a long walk though. And that's another giant pocket. Just using those tanks. Oh, this is getting... I've just been taking the Russians apart bit by bit. I've not had this much fun micromanaging an army in quite a while.
One eternity later.
Just keel over and die, Stalin. Admit it. You've lost. You've lost. Oh, thank the Lord. Oh, that always takes way too long. Alright, now, before I do anything, I'm going to have a look at the wiki, see just what I need. Alright, the area that I've got highlighted now, this massive list of provinces, is pretty much all you need for forming Turan. So you don't need any of the Russian Far East, but I'm gonna take it anyway. You need pretty much all of the Caucasus except for Georgia, but I'm taking it. And then Crimea and old Zaporozhye, this area. So yeah, you need quite a large amount of territory. And, well, since we're here anyway, I'm going to take everything I can as well. Ooh, that was a really good peace deal. We took the majority of Russia. Yeah, we had some very good fun in Russia. Now, here is the big one. We can now form Turan. For so long, Turan seemed like more of a fantasy than a reality, but now we have the opportunity to unite all of the Turkic peoples of the world under one flag. How could we refuse? And with that, the Khaganate of Turan is born. Oh, let some time tick by and... oh, yes! 3.5 million manpower. And we have more options, I think, if we go down the tree here. We get to take a slice of Hungary and Romania. We get to take a slice of Finland. We get to take a slice of China, slice of Bulgaria, Cyprus, a bit of Greece there. So if we so chose, we could conquer our way through much of the Western world and China as well. However, I don't think I have that in me. It's 1943. I've been playing for a very long time. It took me an hour and a half to micro that war with the Soviet Union, so my neck is killing me. But I hope you've enjoyed this video. I actually had a lot of fun playing the tank micro. Let me know what you'd think of my tank Turkey, and if you liked the video, leave a like, consider subscribing if you want to see more videos like this, and hit me up in the comments with your questions, your suggestions, or whatever you want to tell me. I try to read most of the comments on these videos. If you didn't like it, that's fine. Just hit that dislike button and tell me what I did wrong. Always looking to improve. Also, don't forget to check out our Discord server. It's a pretty nice active community. If you want to hang out, play some Hearts of Iron 4, maybe some other games, there's always somebody online you can chat with. And finally, if you're interested in supporting the channel, check out the new membership feature. There's a button down there at the right hand corner of the video that says join. That will take you to the membership page. If you join up, you get access to a few cool emotes and a nice rank next to your name, and it's a great way to support the channel and to support what I do. Anyway, I hope you're all having a wonderful time in this crazy time we're living in. This has been me, Bitter Steel. Have a good one.